Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is going to be a pretty short video on how to replace the resistor in the radiator fan for this 2015 Dodge Grand Caravan SXT. I know some people don't like hearing why you're doing it in front of the video, and some people want to save that for the end and just show the maintenance. So I'm going to try this one with the explanation up front, but if you'd rather hear it at the end, leave a comment. Let me know. I'm still trying to figure out how to best organize these videos. Anyway, the reason I'm doing it, the van's not running right now. It's not up at temperature, but just to the symptoms. So normally on this van, when it's just sitting, the temperature gauge is like right in the middle. Once the engine is warmed up, everything is great. No problems with that. When you're driving down the highway, sometimes it'll dip down to this mark because you're getting nice airflow through the grill, across the radiator, keeps it cool. Thermostat closes, then opens again, does its normal job. Everything is fine. What I've noticed recently is that sitting in stop and go traffic after the van's been running for a little while is the temperature will actually, the needle will start to waver, and then it'll actually push to the right a little bit. It never really gets to this mark, but it gets kind of close, and it gets me started to get worried, but it's definitely too warm. And it's not normal. But I know the thermostat's working. The coolant at the top of the radiator on the upper hose is hot. The temperature sensor is definitely working. The temperature is fluctuating appropriately. The radiator fan does run when the air conditioning is on, and then also when the van is at temperature, it'll run, but it only runs at low speed. And I'm used to, like on the Jeep, that thing sounds like a jet airplane when it's in high speed. And I think the problem is that the fan is no longer running at high speed when you're sitting in traffic and it needs to cool it down from these temperatures. It'll run at low speed, sitting there long enough. It does cool down a good bit. You start moving again, then it cools down all the way. But I think the problem is the resistor is bad for the radiator fan, and that's why it's not engaging high speed. So I'm going to replace the resistor. We'll see if that solves the problem. I haven't seen a lot of videos that talk about this exact kind of symptom, so that's what I'm attacking today. Maybe this video will be helpful if you have those symptoms, and then replacing the resistor does actually do it. So that is what I'm doing today. So now let's go up under the hood, get the old resistor out, put the new one in, and we'll take a look at the old one compared to the new one, all that good stuff. All right, here we are at the front of the van, the 3.6 liter Pentastar, but this is very common for a lot of vehicles, so this should help a lot of folks out. The resistor itself is plugged into the radiator fan shroud. It is right here, and the plastic you're actually removing is this part right here, and it's plugged into the radiator shroud because you actually need the element to get hot. And that's why it's in here to sense the temperature. But to get at it, first of all, you just need to, this one's really easy placement too. I like it with this van, but there's a red tab here that you may need to push back. Mine's broken off a while ago. I've had this fan out a few times in the past. Push down on the tab and then just slide it backwards. So when it comes to removing the resistor, there are two plastic tabs, one right here and one right here, that you need to push in. I'm showing you with a screwdriver, but it's actually easier to do it with your finger. Push those in gently, pull the resistor back, and it should slide down and you can pull it out. All right, that came out super easy. This is the old one. You can see that there are actually some cracks in it, right here in the green, and then here as well. And I think that will obviously lead to degraded performance. And this is a thermistor. And the way this is supposed to work, the way I understand it, is that, well, this green thing is actually, I think that's the resistor itself, and the little capsule down here is the actual thermistor. But basically, as the temperature that this senses increases, the resistance through this resistor will be lower. So what this is doing is providing voltage to your radiator fan. The hotter the radiator is, the more airflow you want, so the faster the fan will spin, so the more voltage the fan gets. So when the radiator is cold, the thermistor registers that it's not hot, and so it's maximizing the resistance, so the most that the fan will turn on when the computer gives power to the fan is a low speed. But when the radiator's hot and it needs more cooling, the resistance will go down because of the thermistor. The voltage will be less restricted, more voltage to the fan. The fan turns at a higher speed. So with the resistor material breaking, I'm assuming that this is going to be part of the problem, if not the full problem. Just for grins, I'm going to measure continuity and the resistance across the resistor, and we'll see what we get. So there is continuity. You can hear it. And then for the resistance level, it's measuring in at 4.3 ohms, more or less. Now we'll compare that to the new resistor. Okay, and the new one comes in at 1.3 ohms. Definitely a different measurement than the old one. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, just a different thing to note. So let's go throw this into the minivan and see how this thing works. Installation is even easier than removal. You just slide it into where you took the old one out from, slide it in, and then slide it out towards the passenger side wheel. It'll click into place, mate the electrical connector, and slide that red tab back in place if you have it. And that's it. You're done. All right, guys, so I replaced the resistor, and that was really easy to do. The van's been running for a while. I'm sitting here back in the garage now. You can see it's not dead in the center still. It's creeping up a little bit, and it'll get up as high as this little mark. Before, it was getting all the way up to this longer mark, kind of like midway between middle and hot. So it's only getting up to this one, and then we'll see the fan kick in and the temperature gauge will go back down. Is this normal? Should I just stop worrying about it, that it'll just go between middle and that little dash, and that's just normal operation? I thought for sure that it was always in the center, but I never really paid super close attention to it. But everything else seems fine. Thermostat's working fine. Temperature sensor obviously is working fine. The temperatures are all moving around. Radiator's working. The fan gets power and it spins. So is this normal? If it's not, what else could it be? Anybody else has this minivan or one like it or this kind of thing? Drop some thoughts or comments on what else I might look at, or if I should just call it good and not worry about it until it starts getting to this mark or even higher. So thanks for your help on this one, and hope the video is useful for how to replace that resistor. It is super easy, and you can do it in less than half an hour. Until the next video, y'all take care and have a good one.